Everybody, welcome back to another Steam Deck OLED video, and in this one we're going to be looking at the unparalleled Resident Evil 7. This is the game in the franchise that brought Resident Evil back to its best. After the doldrums of 5 and 6, we had Resident Evil coming back to its roots as a real horror game, and honestly, this is a game that can be terrifying at points. It really is very, very special indeed. So in this video, we're kind of talking about a few simple subjects. I don't really go into lots of details about frame rates and textures and all this sort of stuff, but I really want to kind of get across, is this a game worth playing, whether that be on the Steam Deck or, on a console or on a PC as well. Is it a game worth playing on the Steam Deck in terms of, the limitations that the Steam Deck has, because it's a PC game that's using a gamepad? And how does it run, on the Steam Deck? And of course, this is my Steam Deck 512GB OLED that I purchased just before Christmas 2023. Now, obviously, you've got to be aware that I'm recording this on my mobile phone, and you're probably watching it on a mobile phone. So the graphical quality doesn't always come across. But I guess the first thing I want to say is that Resident Evil 7 is an absolutely amazing game. To this day, it's been out for several years now, but it is very, very good. We went to first person in Resident Evil with this after we'd had the third person of, all the game really, isn't it? All the games up to this point. And this makes it incredibly immersive. The graphics, even compared to the latest Resident Evil, say like Resident Evil Village or the latest Resident Evil 4, are still out of this world. It looks photorealistic in many cases. And the story is interesting. It's kind of almost like a side story in the Resident Evil universe. I mean, we do follow the character Ethan in this game and in the next one, Resident Evil Village. But it is very, very good indeed. In fact, the only thing that really stops me coming back and playing Resident Evil 7 more often is the fact that it's so scary. It really is. In fact, some of the scariest things aren't when you're actually coming up against the baddies, when you're up against them. It's just when you're wandering around this house, the baker's house, with the ambient noises and the way it looks. It looks terrifying. So as far as, is Resident Evil 7 a game worth buying and playing in general? Yes. Is it worth buying and playing for the Steam Deck? Absolutely, 100%. It's got HDR in it. Again, this doesn't come across very well, but the brights are very, very bright, and the darks are incredibly black as well. So, it looks absolutely marvellous. So how does it run on the Steam Deck? Well, I'm in a bit of a quiet area here because I'm trying to record the video and talk at the same time. But as you can see in the top left-hand corner, we've got 60 frames a second, chugging along nicely. I do actually limit my Steam Deck games to 60 frames a second. I find that really a sweet spot. If a game can run consistently at 60 frames a second, it's nice and smooth. I'm able to conserve a little bit of battery life as well. And for me, it's really about consistency of frame rates rather than having incredibly high frame rate. I think once you get above 40 frames a second with video games, for my old eyes anyway, they look very, very smooth. But what you do notice is frame rate drops in games. And therefore, if you can set a game for a lower frame rate, or even a frame rate like 60, but it doesn't like jump up to 100, then down and up and down and down, I think it's a much better experience. Now, if we go into the options and we go to graphics, this might be a little bit difficult for you to read, but obviously the screen on the OLED is 90 Hertz with full screen. VSync is on. I can't stand tearing. Normal rendering method. We haven't got FSR on or anything like that. Texture quality high, texture filtering medium, mesh quality medium, motion blur on, always good to smooth things out when you're turning around. Dynamic shadows on, shadow cache on, bloom is on, lens flare on, photometric lighting low, reflection variable, chromatic aberration on. There we go. So we've got some nice settings there, and always remember that what the beauty of these handheld PCs is, because the screens are so small and therefore the the pixel density is so high. So even though the Steam Deck only has an 800p display, not a 1920 by 1280. So it's lower resolution than something like the ROG Ally, or of course your monitor or your TV that you're playing on. Because the screen is so small, those pixels are jammed together, and so things look sharper anyway. And as you can see, this is running incredibly smoothly. Again, but with HDR on, to me, as I'm watching that bulb is incredibly bright, and then it's dark around it, where in fact, looking at my screen on my phone, I can see there's a lot of bloom around that, as you would kind of expect. So yeah, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Biohazard runs very, very well on the Steam Deck OLED. Highly recommended. It is an amazing game to play. It's just incredibly scary at times. And I mean, look at that. I mean, that looks fantastic, doesn't it? And I think this is a must for any Steam Deck owner's collection. Look out for it when it's going cheap in the sale, or on the or on a key site or something like that. Maybe try and get the complete edition so you get the extra DLC. Fun fact, I haven't actually worked my way through the DLC yet. I've still got that to do. But yeah, love it. I think it's absolutely amazing, and very much enjoy playing this game an awful lot. There we go. What do you think, though? Put your questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And I will, of course, see you again soon.